Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of The Council. Slightly different episode here. We're changing the format up somewhat. This one is called The Master's Domain and you should be able to see why. We have two very special guests with us today. 2014 World Champion from Star Wars The Card Game, Mick Cipra. How you doing, Mick?
Good. Hello everybody.
Good to have you. I think it's your first time on camera actually, so it's good to see you. Good to see your face.
Yeah, in a website. They got me after I won the championship last year, but it was just one piece. I'm excited to be on and talking about Star Wars.
Yeah, good to have you, my friend. And we have the 2015 Star Wars The Card Game World Champion, Tom Melucci, a regular face on the council these days.
What's going on?
How are you, Tom?
I'm doing great.
Good, as always. The format going forward, we've had a couple of regular UK community members on the council previously. Tom and Mick are basically joining that rota, and you'll see them very regularly on the council in the weeks and months coming forward. And we'll invite additional guests on and have a chat for topical debates. But it seems only fair, now that you're on the council, gentlemen, and you're both world champions, I suppose I should grant you the rank of master. So welcome to the council to you both. Mick, before we go forward, Tom, we've already asked you this, but Mick, your favourite Jedi master or Sith master or that kind of person?
What was this?
So just your favourite kind of Jedi council member character, if you had to pick one.
Okay. This was a question on the previous.
Yes, that you missed that. So we got Tom to answer it last time.
Okay, so I need to pick a favourite Jedi master and a favorite
Jedi master,
Sith
or like
master?
a high-ranking character on the dark side. So I think Tom went. You went Han and Chewie, actually. Didn't you?
I gave you my favorite characters, not my favorite Jedi.
Oh, favorite characters.
And I thought about this more, and I have a new answer.
Revision. Okay, go for it.
Now let Mick go first.
Okay, Mick.
I just really, really like Luke Skywalker.
You do have the play, Matt.
And his hero's journey. Yeah. Funny thing is, I thought last year when I won that Luke was too reckless, and I shouldn't run Luke. Rather, I needed somebody who could complete her training.
Oh.
So I ran Leia, and that worked out really well.
Shields.
They're a thing. Shields are a thing.
The shielded horde. Yeah. If only. So evidently, Asteroid Base got changed at some point.
Not enough to stop you running it this year, though.
No. I thought that it was still viable, and got to top 16 with it, and it could pump out a lot of damage. It could get in a lot of unopposed at various places with just the sheer number of units it had and the passive aggressive nature of the Leia decks.
Yeah.
But it didn't have those explosive, now I get tons of shields and just win the game because all this blast is coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So it got chopped off at the legs a little bit, but not enough to really. I think it was a moment of triumph that was pretty brutal.
Yeah, that
my last two games against Quentin and Matt Davey, I lost half a dozen units in each game.
Yeah, the moment of triumph. I've moment of triumph. As
Quentin,
well,
we went to deploy. He's like, blank 3PO. I'm like, okay.
No.
Like, go to conflict.
No. Oh dear. So Tom, it sounds like you're changing your answer on your side as well now. Then.
So the original question was the Jedi that you most identify with, right?
Well, a character, yeah, but I guess when we bring people on the council, we're like, okay, what role do you want to foresee would you want to fulfill on the council?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
So the more I thought about it, because I don't always consider the prequels ever, but I'm not necessarily one to always follow the rules.
Are you going to say what I think you're going to say?
It is. You don't like it?
Say it.
It's Qui-Gon.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Darth Jar Jar.
No.
I thought you were going to say
No.
The theory.
The theory.
Qui-Gon does do what he wants to do and thinks it's right.
That's true.
When we talked about this the first time, I hadn't put any thought into it, and I don't always think about the prequels. And I did a marathon the other day. I was watching them all, and And I thought about it, and I was like, that would have been the better answer for me.
Qui-Gon fits.
Yeah,
I definitely thought you were going to say Darth Jar Jar. But
No, absolutely.
moving swiftly. That's all you were talking about at Worlds in the bar afterwards. Actually,
It's a thing.
it is a thing.
It may have been a thing. It's not a thing now.
What is also a thing? The moving on to news, so we don't get bogged down a little bit. The new winter kits have hit the stores and event centres recently. So I'll put a picture up over there. Very sexy new Hoth ATAT speeder attack kind of playmat. I think it's the attack pattern Delta.
Oh, the attack pattern Delta playmat. Yeah,
it's good. It's probably not my favourite playmat, but it's kind of pushing for top 3.
It will be in the stack. It won't be used, but it'll be in the stack.
It'll be in the stack.
it won't be used.
I don't think it quite beats out the aggressive assault Hoth playmat for me.
I agree, but the reason I like it
nice
is because not a lot of people have that one. Like a lot of people see that and they really want it.
Yeah.
And it's a harder mat to find at this point.
Yeah,
so
it's vintage.
Yeah.
So and what are the promos? So you got
So Lando is in there, but it's Imperial Entanglements Lando, which
not Edge of Darkness.
I think it should have been an Edge of Darkness Lando. Jumping a little bit to Store Championships, we know it's going to be Chewbacca for Store Championships, and I hope they do Edge of Darkness Chewbacca, but
yeah,
we'll see. I mean,
the one true Chewbacca.
The one true Chewbacca, yes. It's that, and it's an objective, the Endor Gambit.
Endor Gambit, yeah, for the Imperials, which we were looking at this pretty earlier, I think before you joined the call, Mick, but there's not that many Scum and Smuggler promo cards, and there's also, of the objectives, the promo art objectives that we've got, they're all, is it Rebel and Navy?
Yeah, this is our third one, and we've had one Rebel, and this is our second Navy.
So,
the Rebel...
Defense M4.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it was
you have Leia too,
Dark
right?
Time for the Rebellion.
We have a promo of core Leia.
No, we're talking about just
the objective.
promos.
The
objectives.
landscape
objective.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the objective promos are amazing. Unfortunately, Dark Time for the Rebellion, the art is great, but it's not a commonly used pod, obviously. I think Endor Gambit will be okay because, maybe the Endor cycle will bring some life back there.
The card draw off those AT-STs is really nice.
Yeah.
I know up until Sleuth's hit, the AT-ST version of Sith Trinity was one of the best ones we had around here. I lost to it in several tournaments and was really, really impressed by it just because of the sheer amount of cards that you could draw.
Back in the day,
I keep hoping that it gets pushed back up there, but it's always good to experiment with. Just haven't found the right niche for it yet.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, it's good to see. I mean, FFG have definitely they seem to favour Sith and Jedi for the high level, for the Worlds and the Nationals. They seem to be favouring the objective alt art for the Rebels and Imperials. So it'll be good to see them mix it up a little bit. But we'll see what 2016 brings.
For sure.
So moving on to the next point for discussion. Mick, you briefly touched on it there. Deck building and for example, Endor Gambit, how does that slot into a deck? How do we make it work?
Right. So we're in the beginning of a new cycle.
Yes.
Whenever you're getting new cards, you have to go and try them out. And there's a couple different ways to go about doing this. So do you, when you're saying, for example, the new Han pod, do you just slot that pod into an existing deck and see how it functions with the cards? Or do you go and try to build something totally new and different? And I think it's kind of a mixture of both of them. Like, you can put it into an existing deck and it should function fairly well, but then you're always kind of comparing it to what else could be in that slot.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, this just seems suboptimal. The Nash equilibrium is with mono Jedi, and that's just, you just don't put Han into there. Whereas if you go with a bunch of other pods that create a synergy based around it, you might find something new and create a new equilibrium point. I was really impressed with the diversity in the top 4 this year, and I think this speaks to the deck building creativity of a lot of the people out there, that they did not take new pods and just slot them into the decks that had won previous Worlds or Gen Con, but were looking at new ways of using them. For example, David Tietze's light side deck brought core Obi-Wan with Trissa. Like, it didn't have, it had Yoda, but otherwise, like, the overlap with other things, it didn't have Q-Ron. It only had 1 copy of Luke. It didn't look at all like the other Jedi decks, but you had this incredible card draw synergy with a lot of 3 health chuds with Black Blast that could do a lot of damage.
Get the job done. Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. We spoke about it briefly on the last episode with you, Tom, and Zach and David, but about, as you say, Mick, the top 4 and even like a lot of the top 16 was wildly different. And it was interesting. It was definitely interesting to see how all the different players approached that question and tackle the problem of what deck.
I think you also have to mention the Star Destroyer deck from
the Star Destroyer bun.
Star Destroyer bun. You heard it here, people.
Yes.
I was going to credit that it was both Zach Bunn and the New York meta, who I guess.
John Heath Clark, yes.
John Heath Clark.
He was also in the top 16 with the same deck
with
list.
the exact same deck list.
Yep.
And they did not do any kind of playtesting together.
Right, so they came to the same conclusion of what kind of deck. And we had tested a lot of Mono Navy, and one of our guys around here, Nick, really likes the Star Destroyer version of Mono Navy. But we did not double down on that idea of deploy the fleet and double down on double deploy the fleet and forward command posts, which, it just seemed like you're giving up a lot of your defensive options. You got all these like 6-drop, Star Destroyers with no guns or tactics. So how are you preventing them from blowing up objectives? And it's just, well, you blow up theirs first. So they really doubled down on that aggressive strategy, and we just didn't go far enough with it, I think.
But you also had, I think the theme of Worlds this year, I think for me, was definitely aggression. So Tom, you spoke about it with your Jedi. You just wanted to hit face all day.
Smash face, constantly.
Zach did it with his Star Destroyers, and I know he had a very tempo-driven Han Falcon Jedi deck that sometimes wanted to build a board, but then smash face as well. We had Leopold went aggression, but in a very different way with fighters. So it has been interesting to see how people tackle the problem of winning this game. And
that was the thing that was, light side has to be aggressive, right? Dark side doesn't, and light side was easier to solve. Like, everybody's going to be on some version of Jedi, which is why Guri Sith worked, right? Because it puts you in a position where you can't be straight up aggressive, because, like, okay, win this edge battle, you're going to lose in the long run.
Right, yeah. A Guri deck in Sith with, 5 Hida battles and threat removal, and Guri jumps in and strikes first. That can destroy very aggressive decks. During the regional season, I was trying to solve that one too, because the Jedi decks, then it was quad Yodas, and they could also be incredibly aggressive. But
we didn't have Guri at that point, right? So
we didn't have Guri at that point.
That was the Zizor.
So that would have helped a lot. So Zizor helped to be able to just steal their 5-dot edge cards. And I was running double Zeka, and if it could build a board where if they attack into me between Twist of Fate or Prince's Scheme, if they attacked too early, I could just kill their units, focus them, have more guns. I could kill their board. But Jedi could build better. And now, as the meta has shifted a little bit, where Jedi really wants to, or light side really wants to be aggressive before Navy just obliterates everything, as it shifts into a more aggressive build, then you can look at those Hida battles and just repel them at the beach type strategy.
Yeah. So I mean, and the reason we're trying to talk about how we build a new deck and whether we slot it into an existing archetype or just do away with the rules and start from fresh is because we have new cards. I mean, I've got print-offs of new cards. You guys actually have it released in the States now. You dumb you. So we're about a week behind.
Hey, I'm picking mine up tomorrow. I don't have them yet.
But we just wanted to give you guys a bit of an insight into how the two world champions from this year and last would go about taking these new cards and slotting them into a deck. So
what time does?
Yeah. So for me, I think before we get into the very specific, how would this go into a deck? For me, I think you touched on it, Mick. It kind of depends for me because, for example, when Family Connections came out, there was already quite a well-defined best attempt at a trooper deck at the time. That clearly just slots straight in, see how it plays. You swap it out for something else, and away you go. But I'll be interested to see your thoughts on. I think, for example, Imperial Entanglements, the yellow cards, the smuggler sets that we got there. Most of those don't seem to fit into an already defined deck type that we have. They all seem to be, and that's why not many people played them. I think at the high level, they're all very new, doing crazy new style things with new fake cards and tricks that I don't think anyone's got their head around yet. So maybe that's a good place to start, guys. Tom? How would you go about if I said build an Imperial Entanglements smuggler deck now? How would you go about that?
I would use Jedi cards.
Okay.
Well, no, I mean that's if I'm specifically trying to use the cards in that those pods.
Yeah.
I would you pick one thing and then you build around it, right? So like I've seen a lot of and I haven't built a lot of decks with these pods, but like I've seen a lot of stuff built around Lady Luck. Right, so you start with that. There's card drawer in there. There's a really great synergy with Defense Yavin 4. If you discard the technicians to pay for vehicles, you get new cards. And so I think when you want to build in this way where you're not doing a replacement, you want to choose a pod and just start with that. So I'm building around Lady Luck and then find synergies. Mick loves his synergies. We talk about this all the time. So like the Cloud City Technicians with Defense Yavin 4 is a great synergy. So let's start with that. We put those four things together. What else fits there, right? You want the I forget the name of it. What's the discard a card, gain an icon? It's amazing.
You want resupply depot.
Yeah, resupply depot.
Yeah,
like so you have some big vehicles. You put resupply depot in there.
If your first turn is resupply depot and 2 Corellian Corvettes, that's a lot of pain.
Yeah.
So and then I don't know. You fill it out. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna give an entire deck list right now.
But it seems like you start from scratch in that instance.
You start from scratch.
You're not taking a defensive Yavin 4 deck that you've already built and go this out and then.
No, and I don't think you can really work like that with all new pods. Some you can. Even something like the new Han, which we'll get into, you can slot that into a pre-existing deck, but like, are there pre-existing Rebel character decks that are commonly played? Not really. No. You know what I mean? Like, there are some, but not at a competitive level.
Mick's grinning away like a Cheshire cat.
I just watched the Tauntaun Commandos deck take down a tier 1 dark side deck the other week.
Tauntaun Commandos.
Yeah, it was all
sounds like a Shad deck.
Was a Shad deck.
My ally is that life creates it. All my creatures are back. Here's 7 Tauntauns. Go.
No, but don't give Shad more.
No.
So Mick, what do you think about that topic? Working with new pods and new ideas, like.
Yeah, there's definitely a danger of trying to put too many of the new pods together into a deck, and having that make a cohesive deck. On some of the Force Pack releases, like sometimes I'll just throw 2 of the new pods together and otherwise a shell that works fairly well, just so I see lots of the new cards and how they work. But usually it's not all that competitive.
Yeah.
The one time that worked great was in Pack 4 of the Rogue Squadron cycle when you got both Vader and Fel.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, so this is the pilot list.
Wait.
Come together.
Vader and
Boba Fett.
Yeah. Okay. I was like,
and then you could play Fel finally.
And Fel, yeah, he was earlier in the cycle.
He was much earlier, and I tried playing him during the first PAX release, but it just didn't have the tools from the whole cycle yet, so there wasn't as much to do with it. I was trying to work it into like all-out brawl decks because the 2-drops have 3 health. So like that seemed like it might be promising, but really you need the other pilots in it.
Yeah.
So that was a deck where I could put 2 of the new pods in it, and it came together really nicely. But most of the time that doesn't happen. You do want to make sure that you're hitting your basic necessities too, and just how many resources the deck has. Do you have twists? Do you feel like you need twists? Is there an advantage there? Are you giving up too much if you don't? One of the mistakes that I made early on is too many of the newer pods that have what I call 2-for-1 resources, where it costs 2, but it only returns 1. Falcon's resource I tend to refer to as a 1-for-1, even though it costs 2, it returns 2. Yeah. But any of the 2-for-1 resources, you're losing tempo generally if that's your first turn. Like you can spam them out because they tend not to be limited, but if your first turn is light side is like Echo Cavern, Sulan Sympathizer, and then I don't know, a Guardian of Peace or some kind of 2-drop. I suppose you couldn't actually pay for that with those resources, but you don't have a substantial body on the board. Like you're kind of setting yourself up for next turn, but the 1-for-1 resources tend to be better.
Yeah, 2-for-1s aren't bad if you have a couple mains in your deck that cost 3, like Yoda and Leia. So, like, you could, on a first turn, play a 2-for-1 and a main still.
Right.
I mean, it's still a tempo hit, because playing a Leia and an Ewok is...
And I've really sort of grown to start liking the objectives that are just vanilla with 2 resources, because they let you play, like, first turn you double focus Luke's objective, and play Asteroid Base or Native Support or Sulan, and next turn you're still on 4 resources.
Yep.
Or you can get a lightsaber on Luke and double strike with him, as Tom was doing at Worlds. But I think, for me as well, there's a very distinct difference that everyone needs to be aware of when you new cards release and you're trying to slot them into a deck or build a new one. It kind of depends on what's just been released. If it's a deluxe, you can build that, as Mick kind of talked about. You can try and build an entirely new Imperial deck and just see how it works. Whereas a new Force Pack comes out, you can't. You've only got 1 objective set for Rebels. You can't build an entirely new Rebel deck as a result of it. So you kind of have to, depending on what's been released, is it a deluxe or a pack? That will help sway or kind of force you down a route of, am I going to try and build an entirely new 10 pods or just shoehorn this in somewhere? So.
Yeah, you can try to put the new Han in with the old Rebel Commando type pods, but it may not be your mileage may not go as far as putting him in with some Jedi stuff that can slow the game down and protect him.
Yeah.
For now, and then we'll see what comes out later in the cycle. I imagine there'll be other Rebel Commando type stuff since we're going to indoor.
Seems like it would fit. Seems a good fit. So, should we move on then to the new cards and get cracking and
okay,
frothing at the mouth? Who wants the Rebels then? Hands up.
Mick wants the Rebels.
Mick wants the Rebels. Well, let Mick fire away with the Rebels. So I'll put some graphics on the screen so that even if we fly through some cards as we go through each of these new pods, you at least see them, even if we don't talk about them that much. But off you go. Off you go, Mick.
Okay, so this is a new Han Solo pod, and I think the first immediate thought is you can now build a deck with 8 Han Solos and Heroes and Legends, and then just try to bounce Han Solos in and out and win the game with Han Solo.
Nobody thought that.
The eight
Anton definitely thought that. I can tell you that for sure.
All right, Anton, I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm sure using Han's new little Spec Force op chuds, like they can, if you use them to damage an indoor objective to unfocus core Han, you can do a lot of damage that way. So there's a synergy there that puts you into Rebels and Smugglers. But I think this Han, I'm tempted to put this Han into a deck where he's my only copy of Han, and then I see what else I can do with it. There's a lot of blast in this.
Yeah,
this is an objective set that has 3 units that all have blast. And it has 2 1-drops with white blast. That's we haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
And not only do those 1-drops have white blast, but they have a built-in ability to double strike.
Or let Han double strike. So that's pretty nutty. And the cost for that is damaging an indoor objective. Like you have to pay costs with your own cards. You can't just damage
friendly
objectives. But you damage your indoor objective, which is like, okay, they might be able to punch it out and clear off the board. But Han's new objective set itself, or the objective, Shield Generator Assault, at the beginning of your turn, you can move a damage from an indoor objective to another indoor objective.
Which can be your opponent's at that point.
So it's like, well, you can kind of shuffle around the damage on your own indoor objectives, or maybe your opponent has an indoor objective, and then you can move it onto their board. But at this point, it would just pack 1. Like, it just pack 1 into things. Darkside probably isn't playing a lot of indoor, unless they're like trying the Rin's Pod or have indoor Gambit or something like that. So it's like, it feels like that objective text isn't going to do much, and in the matchup it may not do anything.
It's a bit of a sleeper, isn't it? The more Endor we get, the better it's going to be. Like Heroes and Legends, the more character copies we
get.
That
in the pod, the mission ground support is indoor.
Yep.
And you give that to the dark side.
And missions, new card type. It's basically an objective you hand control. You pay usually a resource or 2 for it. You hand this objective to your opponent. It doesn't generate them any resources generally, as far as we've seen. And when you take it out, it has a positive benefit for you as the light side, or the dark side if they start playing missions. But the dark side are considered to control that objective, even though you gave it them. So,
right,
interesting.
Yeah, so you can attack it, and then damage your indoor objective to strike again with Han or the Spec Force ops. And then at the beginning of your turn, that that damage that you put on your objective, you put it back onto that mission. And that mission, that's a pretty potent mission. All of these missions have to be like worth playing. They have to, like, it's you're trying to knock out an objective, and you're paying the cost of one of the cards that you draw that turn and having to put it down on their board. How much does ground support cost? Does it cost
1?
It costs 1, yeah. So you're losing a resource to put this card down. That's effectively an objective for them.
Yeah.
So it's got to give you a pretty big reward. And I think volleying their entire board, damaging all of their objectives and all of their units is a really good effect.
I've seen that wreck some boards recently. Mick, cough. But yeah, reaction after this mission is completed, which is when this objective, the mission, is destroyed. It's considered completed. Deal 1 damage to each enemy unit and objective. So that's pretty brutal. That's Leia's command gone bonkers, because they don't have to be ready. It just does 1 damage.
Interestingly enough, Leia's command will also always hit that mission, because Darkseid can't just arbitrarily focus it for 0 resources. So it'll always be ready.
Yeah.
Also, Ties of Blood is indoor.
Leia.
So Han and Leia,
Yeah.
they're getting together.
It seems like a good matchup. I know, Tom, you love a bit of Leia.
Oh no, John's
Nope.
doing it.
She's not my favorite.
I'll put a link in the description for the Gen Con US Nationals finals. Go and watch that. Lol. Yeah.
Put a link for Worlds too.
maybe. So first question, I guess, for this pod and missions in general. Do we know yet whether you can have more than one mission in play? Can you give your opponent a fifth and a sixth?
So I got the pack the other day,
Mm.
and there's a informational slide in it.
Okay, yeah.
I have somewhere around here. I'm pretty sure you cannot put a second mission out in play for them.
Right, gotcha.
I feel like we read that at some point yesterday.
Okay, it's good to know. So, what excites you most about this new pod then, guys? Tom, as soon as Mick's done the intro, Tom, what would you say?
Double striking Han. Wait, I'm sorry. Quadruple striking Han? Like if you have 3 of these strike teams in play and you have 3 Endor objectives, go nuts.
Now, do you want double striking Rebel Han, or do you want another Han in there? Because it doesn't say that Han, it just says card named Han. Any Han will do.
Any Han will do.
Any Han will do.
You probably don't want...
So right now
Throw back the curtain.
right now I see the most synergies with this pod.
Tom's
and,
not playing our game. Tom's
and
not
and Jedi. No, I'm completely ignoring both of you.
Is there a Jedi Han? Do you have
No.
a Jedi Han yet?
No,
No.
we do not. We do not. We got 2 smugglers and 2 rebels. But
So that's 8 Hans.
shush.
Heroes and Legends.
No, that's 3 factions. Stop it.
Yeah. I mean, you have to start smugglers for Bucket of Bolts. Like you're pigeonholed into that. And then you just
Wait,
pray
isn't
that you
Heroes
start
and
Heroes
Legends
and Legends.
unique Jedi?
No, it's unique character.
Is it?
Yeah,
You're right.
You've always been able to Heroes and Legends Chewbacca.
Yeah.
But it has to be unique. You can't Heroes and Legends freeholders.
Damn.
They're always free anyway. You wouldn't need to.
Yeah. Play 4 holder.
And when you manage to Heroes and Legends out your Hoodie Han, then you can go search your deck for a Spec Force Ops.
True. Any rebel card, go and seek it. It's
It's
a
worth
deck,
building.
Tom. This is a deck.
It's worth building.
Wait, the spec team, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to start with stupid. And
Yeah, no.
And tone it down.
I could see a deck that has 3 or 4 Hans, but with all the good characters we have, and we talked about this on the last episode with Zach Bunn, a lot. There's a benefit to having more unique characters so that you don't draw into cards that you can't play.
More different unique.
More different unique characters, yes.
Yeah. I mean, that was Zach's light side deck at Worlds.
That was
one, basically toolbox one of.
And that was basically my deck at Nationals. So it's
every turn, if you draw
Link
a
in the
main,
below.
you'll be able to play it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. It might not be the exact unit you want for that specific moment and that threat, but it's a main that you are guaranteed to be able to play. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I've been trying to figure out how to tackle the idea of 12 pods. Because it's sort of like, it's like, this is the one that nobody really wants to go there. It's like, you're reducing the consistency if you're going to 12 pods.
you're
But
having an Anton conversation with
Nathan Ferrero he likes his 11, 12 pod decks. And there's something to be said for it, because, you get your resource count basically where you need it to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit more than what you would normally run because you're putting in 10 additional cards.
Yep.
But one of the issues I've had with running the Highlander style decks is some of your units are just much better in a particular order. Like you want particular mains before you see the other ones. Like,
protectors. You want chewing
Yeah,
on the board
yeah.
before Han hits the
yeah,
board.
you don't want to run out some stuff too early.
Mm.
Ferris is not exactly what you want on turn 1. So by running 12 pods, are you, and doubling up on the mains that you want to see, are you sort of balancing both worlds of being able to see the important mains first, but then still having that ability to drop a unique threat every turn?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that analysis.
I think the consistency factor, for me at least, it's just.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not willing to. I have not gone there for any major tournament, but it's definitely been an idea.
So the problem with Star Wars, as a game system and playing 12 pods is, the mechanics of the game say, you draw 1 hand of cards each turn, and if you have no cards in your hand, you draw 6, which is great. That's what you're trying to do every turn, right? When you have more, if you're playing 10 pods, it's usually like 44 to like 52% of your deck is units, right? Like most of your pods have 2 or 3 units, especially Jedi. Where if you do the same thing with 12 pods, you have the same percentage of cards. Yeah, it's the cat. I hear the cat.
No. She is
Doesn't
not
like
granted
it,
the rank
Tom.
of master.
He is not.
She is not. There was like
no.
a rabbit-looking thing on the Jedi Council, by the way.
He's still kind of salty about that, Andy.
Well, he can win Worlds next year, and we'll invite him back.
But so when you look at 12 pods, you have same percentage of units.
Yeah, the distribution doesn't change.
More cards that are not units. So when you draw 6 cards, you have I don't want to say a better chance, but like there's just more non-unit cards for you to hit. You know what I mean? Like it feels like there's a better chance when you're running more pods that you're going to pick up a hand of cards that has no units in it.
Yeah, I think for me it was never.
I've actually done the work on that at one, and I can't remember what my results were. But yeah, I ran the numbers on really just like a starting hand, and the likelihood of like having an unplayable starting hand if you have 10 objective sets versus 12, and it's actually not really all that different.
Yeah.
For me, I think it was always because the unit distribution, you'll get an extra main, an extra supporter unit, probably a resource or an enhancement, an event, that kind of stuff. So the distribution doesn't change that much. For me, the 2 issues why I dislike going above 10 is, one, if the deck is built around getting units out in order, like pilot decks, you don't want to be going above 10 in pilot and fighter decks because you want the fighters out first to then play the fighters on. Yeah, the pilots on. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
But for me, I guess probably the main issue for me was most of my decks these days have a preferred objective draw.
Yep.
So back in the day, Quad Yoda, Heroes and Legends, I kind of want Heroes and Legends. That helps my day out quite a lot. So suddenly that being a 5th of my deck or a 6th of my deck is a big jump. And the reduction in how frequently I get that hurts.
On the same token, you also reduce the likelihood of starting across the Jundland Waste.
True.
And
But
so
you can do
there's
that by
advantages.
just not playing it.
But then
I don't
you're removing a pod with like 4 excellent units.
I speak from experience. That's a pod. And that is a good pod.
It's a pod.
Edge 22 pass.
Yeah. This Tusken Raider has 22 friends.
Yep.
And one of them's the Emperor of the Galaxy.
That made my year last year. So, Rebels, I think we're done. We're done with Han. Worth noting, new fate card that will be pretty common. Secret Objective.
It has 3 dots.
It has 3 dots, which is not first, but there's not many of them. Battle of Hoth. And that's it, I think, is it?
Yeah.
3-dot fate fake card. Yeah.
Fake card.
Yeah.
It
And
allows you
Relentless
to.
Pursuit also has 3 dots.
The what? Sorry?
What?
Oh,
Relentless Pursuit.
True. True.
The fake card and the Galactic Scum pod.
It's not
Yeah.
fake.
It's a fake.
But it's effectively allows you to switch the objective that you're engaging, a bit like the land speeder from the new Owen pod.
I don't really know what it does. It has 3 dots.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be pretty common. So secret objective, new fake card. Be aware of that. 3 dots.
It is in 4 of the 5 pods of.
Yeah.
This,
But and it's key.
Yeah,
It's kind of
there's
key
going to be
for,
a lot of moving around with
for
it.
rebels. That's 3 dots on a fake card is good. Jedi are like, man, we've got 5 dot fake cards. We don't care. They're called Yoda. But yeah, rebels 3 dots.
Second best fake card in the game.
It's good. But yeah, especially when, as Mick said, all the units in this new Rebel pod, all their blast is white, so you need to be winning that edge. So.
Yep.
Where do you think you put Han's pod right now, Tom? Just
What deck do I put it in?
deck idea. Yeah.
So I did play it once the other day. I put it with Jedi Leia, May the Force Yoda, because I like good cards. I think I had 2 Cricks, 1 Winter, and 1 something else Rebel. I don't remember what the last pod was, but it was 4 Jedi. It was 4 Jedi, 6 Rebel, but I played Rebel Affiliation because I wanted both Leia's Command and May the Force. So,
Yeah, I think I built a somewhat similar deck. Because my May the Force be with you Yoda was in a different deck, I wound up not using that one.
Okay.
But I also did Crix and Leia, and then I did, I think, 1 Winter, 1 Luke, 1 Huron, and 1 Guardians, because I wanted some protection for the Spec Force guys.
Yeah.
I had originally looked at Luke, but then I had not enough resources.
Yeah, I think that I might want to... Oh, which Luke were you looking at?
Endor Luke.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I put in Core Luke.
Okay. Yeah. I thought Endor.
I was like, indoor Luke. You need your indoor objectives.
Yeah, but then, yeah.
I do like, in your build, the option of having 4 Seeds of Decay.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
It's dumb. It's dumb.
Yep. Ouch.
And saying your fake cards don't work.
Yep.
Oh, you damaged it. I'm going to move that damage over to ground support.
Good luck. Yeah, that will be annoying when that starts happening, for sure. So, next pod we have, it's actually, this one was spoiled quite a while ago on Bios and a previous council episode, but we'll go through it again, albeit a little bit more quickly. The Pack 1 homage to Ewoks. So it's basically it's a neutral pod, which we've not seen some of those for a while. So it's good to see them back in the fold.
Did Echoes have neutrals?
Don't think.
Or was it Hoth?
So I think it was Hoth. Did Hoth?
Hoth had neutrals. They had Frozen Rescue.
Oh yeah. And Sabotage.
Definitely had neutrals, but Echoes didn't have any, right?
Don't think so. It's
And
been a
Rogue's
while.
Pod hasn't had any.
Been a while. I've been holding out for. I didn't know if they were going to do a deluxe purely of neutrals. That would be pretty, I don't know. It'd be pretty good. It'd blow deck building out of the water.
I still want a unique Tusken Raider.
Unique Tuskens.
The one that punched Luke in the face.
Yeah. So
the Cypher CCG game had a unique Tusken. I want that guy.
Eric, we're putting the request in. We want that guy. We've got a world champion here who could design the card. Tom?
Nope.
No?
It's not a Wookiee.
No, it's not a Wookiee. So the objective, 5/1 neutral. It basically gives Ewok blast. Or anything with the Ewok trait gets blast.
Oh, well, that might be important
later.
later.
Get to that. I might get to that. But yeah, it's got Warwick, Wicket W Warwick. Again, a 4-cost neutral main. Bit underwhelming for his icons and his cost, but I see why he has to cost 4 rather than 3.
He can focus guys when he attacks.
He can, which is cool. Pretty cool reaction. An Ewok warrior But I think what most people are talking about in this new set is the 0 cost enhancement part of the tribe, which is 0 cost, 1 pip neutral enhancement. Character or droid gains the Ewok trait.
Luke.
So who do you want to make an Ewok?
Luke.
And or Luke is the first one, I think. It's a 0 cost enhancement, so that he can discard to strike for free and free up again. But he gets the Ewok trait, which means what kind of synergy do we get from that? Well, he gets a blast from the objective if you have it out. You can do some stuff to remove focus from Ewok
native
units.
support.
Yeah.
Mick, do you know anything about that card?
So the guy who I kind of want to make an Ewok is Ferris.
Of course
Okay.
you would.
Yeah, he could be part of the tribe.
Stop giving everyone ideas, Mick. Ah.
You put the shield on him. You can remove that shield for a blast. You attack with him. He's an Ewok. You remove his shield to unfocus him with a native support. You attack again. He gets the shield back. You trigger native support. Oh, wait, you can't trigger native support again.
Aw,
Man.
sad face.
Well, you can still attack twice with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could also attack 3 times with Luke.
Ooh.
Oh.
The parents are fighting.
You could put them both in a deck.
You could. You could.
See which one you find first.
This is true.
Droids, though. Enhance a character or droid. Any droids we want to be enhancing at this point?
Iggy. Oh, no, he's not light
Light
side.
Space is 3PO and Natu, isn't it, really? They're
Could
light side
you
droids.
could enhance their IG-88, right? And make him an Ewok, couldn't you?
Yeah, but what would you do?
You would do that because then you could target him with Echo Caverns.
To share.
Icon.
I knew where you were
So
going.
true.
I knew where you were going.
So true. Oh my god.
Does Lightside have no other droid mains? I don't think they do.
They've got a couple of other droids like Repair Droid and stuff, but no mains.
Yeah.
How is Lobot a cyborg and Darth Vader isn't?
Yeah, you mentioned
I
that
want
earlier.
I want Darth Vader to be a droid. He's more machine than man. He should at least be cyborg. Right, so I want Darth Vader to be character droid so that I can put Vader's lightsaber on him and illegal modifications. And then that would be pretty good.
Seems dumb.
Ouch.
Yeah. Not an option right now in the game.
No, it is a weird one though. Like you say that he's not. He is just character, isn't he? There's no, like you say, Lobot's a cyborg. He's not a droid.
Cyborg. Lobot's a cyborg.
He's the only one in the game at the moment, is he?
I'm hard pressed to think of another cyborg character right now.
There's not a whole lot of them. But yeah, the mission again, secret objective, the fake card for 3 pips. The mission: repel the invaders. Costs you 1. Only Ewok units can be declared as attackers. So there's.
Yeah, that's a little bit tricky.
Mm.
Like, are you going to have enough Ewok attackers to do an important, relevant attack? You know, if you don't have Ewok Luke out yet, you know, do you have the Ewoks to go in?
Well, you target something else and then you switch to this engagement with.
That's
fake
true.
card.
Or you bring Han along.
Or you bring Han and he's just
Here we go.
over that way, boys.
Objective.
So
now
what
let's
you
turn
just
this
said,
way.
though, is a very interesting thing, right? So you have Han and you have this. How many missions? If you're making a missions deck, how many missions do you want in your deck? I think the limit is 3, but
Yeah, I don't know if I really want 4. Well,
They
one of
don't
the
have
things
many
that
pips. They don't have
the
many edge
sets
pips.
that we've seen, these mission pods don't come with resources.
True.
So-
Currently,
true.
They
Unless,
are
like, the mechanics and the engines of the decks really change, you still got to find your resources somewhere.
and it comes back down to the point you mentioned earlier with the 1-1 and the 2-1 resources, Mick. Playing a mission is a huge tempo loss. That's one resource that you probably aren't going to see a return on this turn.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
This is Repel the Invaders is Endor traded though, so it would synergize with Han's
true,
objective.
true. And yeah,
There
the
you go.
reaction, the benefit,
Yeah,
we've
over.
glossed over, the benefit for this one, after you complete it, destroy it, return up to two target enemy units, each with printed cost 3 or lower, to the owner's hand. So
I had a lot of experience early on in the game with prepare for evacuation. I really enjoyed playing Dark Side Hoth decks early on in the Hoth cycle.
oh yeah.
Trompers, Wampas, more. Like I even played some Dark Time for the Rebellion, And then Vader's Fist came out, and I was like, "This is going to be awesome. I'm going to play Vader's Fist. I'm going to double fist them." I've been playing these games, and my opponent always started double Vader's Fist against me, and I was like, "Oh, this is brutal. Oh, this is brutal." And then in the final round, I'm playing against Shad, and I start with double Vader's Fist. I'm like, "Okay, I got him right where I want him." And you know what beats double Vader's Fist? Double prepare for evac.
Yep.
He just got his speeders together, target of opportunity, Rogue 3, boom, blew up Vader's Fist, bounced like Emperor and Mahdi. Next turn blew up another thing. And it was just,
Is it?
Like bouncing units it's good.
Bouncing units is good. It's interesting that they decided to go with 3 cost because we have a lot of 3 cost units, but it's not the most common thing, right? Your mains are usually 4s and 5s, and your chuds are usually 2.
Yeah.
So I think most of the time you're going to return 4 resources worth of units here, but it could be 5 or 6 from time to time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But returning units is great for sure.
Yeah, it's sort of a question of how many, how often you'll be hitting 3 drops with it. How many people are going to be playing with relevant 3 drops?
Definitely don't want to return Yulorn to hand. Don't do that.
No.
Don't.
Good point.
Don't do that. That's a mistake.
Bad call.
Well, if you can blow up the objective and leave no objective damage on the table,
Yeah, he's a fairly mediocre
he's just a
unit
card
once
of hand.
Yeah, once he's done his thing, he's...
There's always other damage on the table.
Sit on him. Yeah, usually.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to give that back to them even if there's...
It's usually it's Royal Guards and the like, isn't it? You want to just bounce back.
Yeah.
So. Okay, Ewok Pod, done. Tom, take it away with the Emperor's Legion. What are your thoughts?
The Emperor's Legion. Okay, so this was also spoiled by... Who spoiled this one? Team Covenant?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So we have an objective that has 3 health, which is very new. But it gains damage capacity for each trooper that you control. So obviously this is a trooper pod. It's gonna definitely have it's definitely gonna have a lot of troopers. But one very interesting thing here is that most of the time you might start on dark side. You don't necessarily want to start with 2 troopers on your first turn. You want to start with Thrawn or Tarkin. These guys are officers. They're not troopers. So, this objective may kind of force you into having a more suboptimal first turn so that it's not as vulnerable as it would be otherwise. Because, if you let this thing be 3 health for the first turn and, how many different mains could just... Luke just walks in and destroys it, so...
Yeah, I've been thinking, maybe it's not even the objective that you want to start with, just because of how vulnerable it could be earlier. It might be... It would probably be a really good objective that you flop later.
I definitely agree.
They blow up an objective and then suddenly, boom, this other thing comes out with 7 health.
Yeah.
And this is Endor traded, which right now is actually probably a negative because that means Han is going to be able to... Han's objective is going to be able to damage it, but I would expect that eventually the dark side will get some love for the Endor trait as well. So you might end up wanting to play this just because of the trait.
Well, we've seen fate cards. None in this pack, but they've spoiled Battle of Endor fate cards.
Okay.
That will do something.
That's Battle of Endor is the one that gains...
Force pips, I think.
All right, so our main is Lieutenant Renz, and he's pretty interesting. 3 health, 3 cost with a couple icons.
Black
But
icon.
he has a really awesome passive, which gives all your troopers an extra damage capacity, which is pretty crazy.
Sick. That is sick.
And he also gives you a reaction where you get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck for any number of troopers, reveal them, and add them to your hand. So, I know Mick has mentioned Espo troopers with this, right? If you're looking to get a bunch of troopers out quick to keep this objective with some good health, Espo troopers, you play this guy in the first turn, you draw 5 cards, get a couple Espo troopers, play them for free. Seems pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Then we got Scout Troopers. There's 2 of them. I love these guys. The first time I saw these, I love free units, obviously, right? Free units are great. But also the trick factor, the surprise of I'm gonna swing with this Espo Trooper for the unopposed, and they're like, okay, I'll pass. And then you're like, 3 Scout Troopers.
Blow up the
let's
objective.
just say, even if that text box was blank, that 2 cost, 2 health, 2 icons, character, it's trooper traded as well. So that's basically that's a better 2-drop chud than some of the other ones we've seen, and it has that reaction.
Yes.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, for sure. That is a good point. That even without the reaction, it would be a viable 2-drop.
Yeah. Just because of the traits.
Yeah. So.
And you get 2 of them.
And you get 2 of those. So yeah,
you're neutral, so you don't need to keep specific resources open. They're neutral as well.
You don't need to keep any resources open.
Well, yeah. You need to start the ball rolling somehow.
Free is free.
Free is free.
So we have secret objective here as well.
Yeah.
But probably one of my favorite things, we have prepared ambush here. So this also costs 1. It actually has 2 pips, which is interesting. I thought these all had 1 pip. So this one has 2 pips. But this says, after this mission is completed, search your deck and discard pile for an officer or trooper unit and put it into play. Shuffle your deck. So free Thrawn, free Tarkin, free PR.
Yeah, which is the only PR you want.
Probably.
Because you're running Piet with Fist.
Probably not a thing. But the first thing I immediately thought of, which I thought was hilarious, was if you played Core Tarkin with this. Like, I know the new Tarkin's amazing, but if you play Core Tarkin, and for 5 resources, you play the objective or the mission, and then you super laser blast it, and go get Thrawn or Tarkin. Yeah, you go get somebody. You spent 5 resources instead of 4, but you got to tutor out one of your mains. This is also
that could potentially let you go down to fewer copies of that.
For sure. Like, you might not want to play 2 Thrawn in this deck because there's no troopers in that pod. Yeah. Right. The officers aren't. The
Nogri bodyguards are definitely not troopers.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, to have a 1 of Thrawn in your deck and just be able to search him out, like, that seems pretty good. This might also be, not that you would ever play it here, but this is also an interesting time to say these missions are reactions, right?
Yeah.
What is an interesting thing we can do with reactions, Mick?
We can chain them.
Yes,
you can chain react them.
You can chain reaction. So when a mission is completed, yours or theirs, you could chain reaction. So if Han's attacking into you kills his mission and deals 1 damage to everything, well, you might chain reaction and deal 1 damage to all of his stuff, and you just wiped out all his strike teams, and because they all have 1 health. Or if somehow you're playing this with chain reaction. Yeah. Or if you're playing this with chain reaction, which I don't think is a thing because there's no troopers. But if you were, you go get 2 units for the cost of
2 Thrawns.
Don't do that. I did. It was in the finals, not the finals. It was in the top cut of nationals. I was playing against TGO, and I had a giant swarm, and I was basically swinging for the game. And I was like, I unfinished business Luke. And I already had a Luke. It was a different Luke on the board. And he's like, you can't have 2 Luke.
No, this is Luke.
It's different. It's totally different.
But yeah, Mock, he's an officer that you might want with some troopers. Get that blast ball rolling.
Pretty much.
That blast is actually pretty important. Orbital on a stick.
And this does give you the option to find a trooper as well. So if you mix this with Vader's Fist, and you want to go get that 4-cost trooper that has 4 black guns, or if you mix it with what other big troopers do we have, Mick?
Well, Snowtrooper Vanguard's the best.
Yeah, no.
3 black guns and shielding. That's really good.
That was pretty good.
But I think you're referring to the Phase 2 Dark Trooper.
Oh, yeah, those things.
Yeah, baby.
I've heard they're pretty good.
Not bad.
Yeah, I like illegally modifying them.
But
When we get to that pod. Are we on that pod now?
We are on that pod, so moving swiftly
hold
on.
on. Are we on that
Ooh.
pod?
I'm not done yet.
Well, no. We kind of skipped this for Warriors of the Forest, but for Shield Generator, we talked about where did we see this pod fit in
Okay.
deck-wise.
Oh, okay.
We didn't talk about that for Warriors of the Forest, but
Ewok deck.
Ewok deck.
ETS Luke. And
Yeah.
Ferris.
Yeah.
And Leia.
So what do you build with this pod, Mick?
What do I build with the Rins pod? You need enough troopers.
Correct.
So I think you do double Rins. Let's say 1 like you really want to do your super laser blast. So let's explore that idea.
Okay. I
Let's,
like.
let's do Rins, super laser blast. Sure, why not? 1 Thrawn, and then maybe Mox, 2 Mox, 2 Modi, and a Espo Trooper.
Modi, I was going to say
that sounds
Modi.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
Troopers for Modi, resources.
You should probably go
Bombard.
down like 1 Mach, 1 Modi, and then you get.
Where's Family Connections? Is that mock or no?
Oh yeah. You take out 1. Okay, so you do Rins.
All of a sudden,
Super
we
laser
have
blast.
too many trooper pods. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Rins, super laser blast, Tag, right? Family Connections.
Yeah.
1 Mach, 1 Modi. What was I thinking
1
on the other
Thrawn.
one? 1 Thrawn and 1 forward command post, because you're going to get shields on all your troopers.
True.
And then you do Espo troopers. Go to 11.
Go to 11.
Yeah, why not?
Andy doesn't like it.
I love that deck. As soon as we get the cards over here, I'm building that deck.
With 11?
Yeah. Spirit of Anton be with me.
All right. I like it. All right.
Cool. Mick, do you want to kick off with the green cards?
He loves them.
Oh, the green cards. Okay.
Droid Revolution.
So, Viva la Droid Revolution.
I love that art, by the
I
way.
misplayed this objective itself a fair amount yesterday. Like, we got the new pods. I built a deck with it. I was trying to illegally modify Phase True Dark Trooper Legions.
Seems good.
Probably not the final direction that pod objective set should go. But it was fun while it lasted. I mean, they can one-shot objectives.
But that's a good example of how you start with.
That's definitely how. Yep, that's how you start. And I have since replaced the second phase with original IG-88 for cheaper droids, and then just trying to swarm them with Iggy B's like unit damage that he gives all the other things. So the objective itself makes it so that your droids that are not participating can't be damaged by card effects or combat icons. So if I understand this right, like you can't targeted strike a droid that you're not engaged with.
That is correct.
Also, and this is what I misplayed a fair amount, you can't be hit by Leia's reaction either.
Or Leia's command.
True.
Or Leia's command. So Leia's command trying to wipe out all your DK whatever reprogrammed droids, that they don't care.
And this is pretty important since with all these Endor cards coming out, we're expecting to see a lot of Leia.
For ground support, like blowing up like that reaction, blowing up the board.
True. They don't care.
Your droids will not care. So I forgot that some yesterday, or didn't realize it. But that's got some promise. Like you'll still get focused under, you'll still get other various tricks, but they can't lightsaber deflect you, and they can't do the Leia things. So that starting that objective is pretty good, but you got to run enough droids to make it worthwhile. Iggy B is pretty sweet. He's not elite, so I don't really want to see him turn 1, but he...
Unless you have a mouse droid.
Unless... First... And that mouse droid will now have 1 black gun.
True.
First turn, Iggy B and mouse droid.
Iggy B, mouse droid, go. So Iggy B's not elite, but he's got that hook shot ability. So he has his targeted strike, and like some people on have been saying, it's like he's got targeted strike, but he only has 1 gun, so he's not that good of a targeted striker. Like, yeah, he only has 1 gun, but he hook shots them in, and then the rest of the horde just beats them to a pulp.
The horde, which he's given more guns to.
Which he's giving more guns to.
And
like
if you play this with Zekka Thane, there's even more guns.
Yeah, if you have All Out Brawl and Iggy B, those 1-drop droids in original Iggy's pod, 3 guns. And targeted strike.
Ooh.
If they don't have committed units. And if they do have committed units, Iggy B can hook shot them in and try to kill them. And then, yeah, it's got some potential. What else is in that pod?
Assassin droids.
Assassin droid.
They're getting 3 or 4 guns.
Plus 4. He can get up to a lot of guns. He has 2 dots, so it's most of the time you're going to bid him. He's not a card that I want to see too early, but later on he can help you build a formidable board. The 1-drop. It's a 1-drop with a white gun and white blast, and a pretty cool reaction. Most of the time, the reaction, they're going to attack into you, and like blocking with him, you can't use it because they've already declared it as an attacker. But if you attack and they try to block, like he can attack, they can't block with their Twi'lek Loyalist anymore. The thing just would enter combat and die. Or you go on the offensive, you attack, you hook shot something in with Iggy B, doing a damage with targeted strike, and now it's in combat, you react and do another damage with the 1-drop. So he's pretty neat.
I mean, if we look at him just for 1 cost.
Oh, for 1 cost.
Two white icons. And he's a droid because that's...
And he gives you some blast. He gives you...
For 1 cost. Like,
droid.
So yeah, that I think this unit is...
He's better than the assassin droid.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to hit the table more often than the assassin.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And then we get to illegal modifications.
So
good.
So good.
You put this on your droid, and then you get to strike a bunch with it. Now, it's not quite like Trust Your Feelings, because you can't attack an objective in conflict and then go attack another objective. You have to do the damage when you would place the focus token. So it all has to be within the same conflict.
So it's kind of like BTS Boba Fett that's going to get to double strike, but
right, yeah, it's in the same conflict.
But you can't,
but you're also paying a damage, so you really like. I found that I really had to evaluate the board, and it was like, well, do I need to do it? Is stuff going to die anyways? Because I don't necessarily want to just put additional damage on my units. It does up their capacity.
Yeah, it ups their capacity.
But yeah, being able to like hook shot 2 guys in with Iggy B is pretty good. I was putting them on Dark Trooper Legions and just trying to one-shot objectives. I was able to race in some games, so it had an option. And what's the final card in that pod?
Prized possession, so resource.
Resource. And now, yeah, we're finally getting some scum staples that have 1-for-1 resources. And that is definitely welcome. So I think if you're building, I think ultimately this is going to go into a mono scum deck.
Yeah.
And then scum will look at it and say, where am I getting my resources? Iggy B has a good 1-for-1 resource, and Iggy B provides a way to hookshot light side units into combat and clear them off the board for those troublesome units like Leia or the Hyperspace Marauder that just sit back and never get involved in conflict.
How does, now, we've not spoken about it that much, but IG-88A, you can play with IG-88 from, is it Edge?
Well, he's just IG-88,
He's just,
right?
yeah, IG-88, so it's not the same title card, so you can play them both on the board.
They're different uniques. They can both be on the board. Evidently, there were 4 of them or so in the lore, I guess. Like, one of them stole the Death Star plans or something.
One of them became the Death Star main computer. Yeah.
Oh, it became the Death Star main computer.
Yep.
When do we get that one? That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, it would be like action, focus the Emperor to lock him in the toilet kind of thing. Just close the door.
has IG-88, A, B, C, and D, all those different pilots.
Yeah.
So do you think that means that our original IG-88 meant to be A?
Now, IG-88 that we got is the one that got summoned to hunt down the Falcon.
Which was...
that's the story there?
I think so. So that is B.
So the Echoes one is actually B?
Yeah, I believe so.
So we have 2 Bs, but they're not...
Essentially, they're not both called B, but I believe that one we have should have been B. If it was.
Which means at some point we'll have 5, maybe.
Maybe.
Ooh, yeah.
Which means all Iggy deck, all the time.
All Iggy deck. We just need like Dark Side Heroes and Legends.
Yeah.
No, we don't. I mentioned that at some point. We don't need that.
That would be cool. That would just be a pod that is the objective, a resource, and then all 4 IGs in one pod.
I wanted to make the...
if they make Dark Side Heroes and Legends, I'm playing
Empire
all the
objective
Palpatine
set. Because in that comic book, that's got like the Palpatine clone. So it would just be 5 copies of Core Palpatine.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, that'd be silly.
So what pods do we see this working with? Like,
well, you've already mentioned one. I really like All Out Brawl with this. You mentioned just
so that's gun synergy, but no droid synergy.
Guns.
Yeah, I've been doing it with Guri.
You know I like Guri.
Then, yeah, and she would then have 3 guns, and you get good like threat removal. Guri, you get good tricks, but one issue I've been finding with that is if you're running double Guri, you're only getting Guri as your droid.
Oh, so the freelance assassin is not a droid.
Somewhere. No.
This pod only has 7 force pips though, so he's struggling holding the force with the Niggy deck as it stands.
All right. Yeah, I think both Iggy's and I don't know, Zeka. I don't know what else fits in that right now.
The version that I've switched to after second that I stopped doing second phase, I switched out second phase for the original IG-88. So I got IG-88, IG-88B, Guri, and then I'm doing Council and Emperor. I had Sith in there originally because it was Council in Phase 2, Dark Troopers.
Sure.
And then I was like, I need removal somehow. I can't just rely on hook-shotting things. So I wanted Force Lightning. And then one-shotting objectives with illegally modified Phase 2 Dark Troopers could bring back Force Lightning with an Emperor. But they were just a little bit too expensive, so I was trying it with more of the Swarm from original IG-88. And that did fairly well in the last game that I played.
So what other scum droids do we have? Like Forlom or...
Forlom.
Hey, it's a droid.
Don't the Ugnaughts do something, too, with droids?
Let me see.
Like, droids are vehicles? Of course, you're not getting droids out of that pod. You're getting those, like, headhunter, Z95 headhunters.
I'm trying to think of any other droid in the pods.
You could do, like, I don't know about skunks.
After a card is
but
captured,
replica
remove
droids.
a damage. Interesting. Ugnaught says after a card is captured, remove 1 damage from a friendly vehicle or droid. So with illegal modifications, if you're causing your own damage,
Just keep
this
refreshing
could
that.
repair it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
With Zizor, you could be capturing cards, right?
yep.
What's the Sandcrawler's reaction when that leaves play? Does that just dump a focus on all characters? Or is it characters and droids? Because if you can focus their board down but leave yours fine.
The Sandcrawler?
Yeah.
Brawler.
Oh, I got it right here.
Not the resource one, the other one when it leaves play and screws with the board.
Character and
each
droid.
Yeah.
Damn it.
It'll
So close.
focus your droids too.
Boo.
I mean, you might also just run 1 copy of it
Mm.
as a resource, an ability to hook shot guys in,
Yeah.
give up on the droid synergy, but have that as a potential removal, and you can tutor it out with Jabba's summons.
Yep, true.
So you don't have to double down on the droid strategy. It's just,
Yep.
I feel like that's where you got to start.
You have the
It's-
reconnaissance mission, human replica.
That's true. Surprise!
Yep.
They're pretty horrible.
I mean, if you're not going down the droid route, I mean, I think that's a pretty big penalty you pay. That's why IG costs 4, I think, this version of him.
Yeah.
For that
What about
passive.
interrogation droids from Cruel Interrogations?
Baby,
Ooh.
baby.
They'll get guns.
Black tactics.
Tactics and guns, and you can give them health capacity and make them strike twice.
Seems good.
Yep. Okay, well, there's definitely some stuff to try out there.
Food for thought there. Everyone go rummage through your binders and find what droids in which pods.
So many droids. So little time.
So, Tom, do you want to finish us off with Mission Command, the 5th and final?
Sure. So Mission Command, the objective says each unit you control gains a black blast while it is attacking a mission. So this is clearly gonna have some mission synergies here, but I already start thinking about what other missions are gonna come out that I'm gonna want to play this with, because this seems like it's gonna be bonkers.
This is Dark Side, is it?
This is Dark Side.
Yeah.
Yep. This is neutral as well. This is neutral Dark Side. So in this first pack, we're actually getting 2 neutrals. So no Jedi, no smugglers, and no Sith. But so the units in this pod, they're not unique. They're contract hunters. There's 2 of them. They cost 2, have 2 health. 2 icons. Character Bounty Hunter, which could be important. But it says this unit deals double damage to out-of-faction units and objectives. So we've seen some of this before in the past, and this out-of-faction concept is coming back now. But one of the things that's really interesting about this is when you play a mission and you give it to your opponent, that mission will always be out-of-faction for them. So this guy who has a blast could attack a mission and gain a blast from his objective, and then deal double damage.
Wait, so
because
he
it's
can
out-of-faction.
one-shot a
Yeah.
mission?
So he could do
Unopposed, yeah.
4 objective damage to a mission if his objective's in play, or 6 if 2 of them are in play. So
Plus 2 unopposed.
he's pretty great. Plus the unopposed if there's nobody defending. Yep. It's he seems like he could be pretty good, and that's a chud. So you could have a couple of those on the board and do some crazy stuff. We have an event, Filthy Accusations. Has 3 force pips, which is always good for edge battles. And it has an action that says place 1 focus token on target out of faction enemy unit. So we're getting more multi-faction hate here, right? So you're gonna have more reasons than just Snuva to not want to splash that Falcon. And this is free. This costs 0. So when you're playing against a mono deck, you could focus some neutral stuff, or you could use it for 3 edge pips. So I think that card is going to be really good. It also comes with a secret objective, which also has
Or
3
3
pips.
Yep.
So one pod that has 2 3 pips now. This is pretty good. And then of course there's a mission
Run that
here.
with Arden Lin.
Yeah,
Oh God, yeah.
for sure. Oh my God, that is crazy. I did not even think about that. Why do you do this? Why do you say these things?
What? No, there's density there. You got to think about this stuff.
No, you are correct. So the last thing is assassination contract. We got a mission. It's 1 cost, 1 pip, 5 health. Reaction after this mission is completed, destroy each out of faction enemy unit. I'm not too impressed with this. Like, if they're playing mono, like, yeah, killing, like, if you're playing against the standard Jedi of today, killing the speeder bikes or the Ewoks and the Sulans, like C-3PO, R2, like, that's good, but it's not as, to me, it's not as good as, like, go get Thrawn or deal 1 damage to everything, including objectives.
Yeah, I'm a bit nervous going into the store championship season because I've been having a lot of fun playing hybrid light side decks, where I've done like a slightly different version of the Jedi Smuggler's Highlander with, my Highlander deck runs double Yoda and double Chewie, but then it's got a bunch of other one-ofs, and this mission will just obliterate so much of that deck.
That's true.
And
This objective.
And I've been looking at putting Han in with the Jedi, and this mission's also going to be really bad for that matchup. So it's like, how much are we going to have to respect this mission going into store championships?
Chain reaction ignores costs and targeting restrictions. Does it?
Yeah, but this isn't a target. This
isn't the qualifier. You're wondering.
Can you chain react to kill stuff that is in faction?
No, because you're copying the effect.
Right. Okay.
So you don't have to meet the cost of having blown up the objective again.
Right. Got you.
But yeah, so this is obviously much better if your opponent is playing multi-faction.
Right.
Obviously.
So it's like, does it have a place if they're running mono? And you're saying you'd rather be running Rins for the tutor.
I would rather. Well, see, this deck has a lot that's. Those contract hunters are going to be great at blowing up missions. So in this deck specifically, I want to make sure I have missions. So this is one of those places where I'm at the 3 or 4 missions. You're having a fight with your cat, I see.
No.
He's telling me it's my bedtime.
Oh God.
Pending Jedi Master there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Holy cow! Run away! Run away!
I think I'd want to pair these contract hunters
with a mission.
With another pod that has a mission that would be more consistently beneficial when it's completed. So I don't know if this becomes a 1 of with another mission pod that's a 2 of, or if a really good mission pod comes out that you want 2 and 2. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the Scum and Sith mission are. I assume that each faction's getting their own mission.
I would expect, yeah. And the other side doesn't matter, but it'll be interesting to find out what the Jedi and the smuggler stuff is too.
Yeah.
Well,
cool. So those are all our pods.
Yeah, wrapped up. Done. So
we'll have to do some building and playing with them, and then see how it ends out.
Good to see. Well, I think that as we saw at Worlds, the variety of decks has never been in a better place. It's wide open for the different styles we can see, and it's with the new cycle starting fresh on the heels of Worlds. It's, as you say, back to the drawing boards even more so. So it's a good time for the game.
It's a good time to play Star Wars.
Good time to play Star Wars. So get out there, pick up your packs at your local retailers. Be some links in the descriptions below for the ones that are close to our hearts. But yeah, thanks to you guys for joining as well. We're Jedi Masters,
It was a
Tom
pleasure.
and Mick. Hopefully see you again soon on the next episode. But any shout outs or any thank yous you want to say or highs to people? Tom, we'll go with you.
Yeah, I mean, like my whole local community and all the people I play tested with for Star Wars, and looking forward to Store Championship season. I'm expecting some good competition, so it's gonna be good.
Good. Pleasure to have you. And then Mick, any farewells and hellos or thank yous that you want to say before we sign off?
Worlds was a blast this year. I really, really enjoyed seeing everybody again. I'm glad that people who had come out the last couple of years continued to make it out. It was great to go and hang out afterwards, and looking forward to everybody coming back again next year.
Yeah, it is a big.
Can't wait.
Everyone comes to visit Mick. For
Everyone.
Yeah. Party at my house in FFG Event Center.
Done. Sold.
We're gonna start going to
Mick's house.
going to Minnesota for May.
I'm
Random trip to Mick's.
done. So that about wraps it up for this episode of the Council, the Master's Domain. Join us again on future episodes as we dive into see if our deck building actually panned out and whether these pods fit as we thought they might. Catch us on social media and the links below and the handles you can see on screen. But it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you again next time.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Andy.